My ex tried to ruin my new relationship. The truth almost broke us. What happens when the past refuses to stay buried? This is the shocking true story of how my ex tried to ruin my new relationship, spreading lies, stalking me, and nearly destroying the love I had finally found. The past that wouldn't stay buried. When I first met Ethan, it felt like breathing after years of holding my breath. He wasn't flashy or loud, just steady, kind, and real in a way that caught me off guard. After the chaos of my breakup with Ryan, I didn't think I'd be able to trust again, but Ethan had this quiet way of showing up for me. He remembered little details, the kind of tea I liked, the way I got cold in movie theaters, how I hated being interrupted when I was reading. He made me laugh in the most ordinary moments, and slowly, I began to believe maybe love could be safe again. But Ryan, my ex, wasn't ready to let me go. Ryan and I had been together for nearly 3 years. At first, he was charming, magnetic in that way that draws you in before you realize how sharp the edges are. Over time, though, the charm gave way to control. He criticized my friends, tracked my location, and had a temper that left me walking on eggshells. When I finally ended things, it wasn't with fireworks or screaming. It was with exhaustion. I simply couldn't do it anymore. He didn't take it well. For months after, Ryan would text me at odd hours. "You'll regret this. You won't find better," or worse, the occasional drunken voicemail about how he missed me. I ignored him, blocked him, moved on. Or so I thought. When Ethan and I started dating, the messages turned darker. The first incident was small enough to brush off. Ethan and I had just made our relationship official on social media. A few days later, one of my coworkers pulled me aside. "Your ex messaged me," she said carefully. "He wanted to know if you've been cheating on him with Ethan. He sounded convinced you were seeing Ethan before you broke up." I felt my stomach twist. It wasn't true. Ethan and I had met months after Ryan and I ended things. But I knew Ryan. If he couldn't have me, he wanted to poison everything else. I apologized to my coworker, brushed it off as Ryan being immature, and told myself it would pass. But it didn't. The next time, Ryan showed up outside the cafe where Ethan and I often went on Saturday mornings. We were laughing over croissants when I felt the prickling sense of being watched. Turning, I saw him across the street, leaning against his car, arms crossed, eyes locked on me. "Isn't that?" Ethan asked quietly. I nodded, my heart pounding. "That's Ryan." Ethan frowned but didn't say anything, just took my hand across the table and squeezed. But Ryan's stare followed us as we left, as though he was branding our happiness with his disapproval. I wanted to believe it was coincidence. But soon, friends began texting me screenshots. "Did you know your ex is posting about you?" One read. On Ryan's social media, there were vague posts. Some people move on too quickly. Some people never really loved at all. He never mentioned my name, but the timing, the subtext, it was clear. Worse, he began hinting at lies. Comments like, "Funny how some relationships overlap. Guess some people can't be trusted." It was a slow drip of poison, and I could feel it spreading. One evening, Ethan sat me down. "Look," he said gently, "I need to ask you something. I don't believe Ryan, but were you still with him when you met me?" The question cut deeper than I expected. "No," I said firmly. "Absolutely not. He's trying to mess with us. That's what he does." Ethan searched my face, then nodded slowly. "Okay, I believe you. But we can't ignore this anymore." His steadiness calmed me, but I still felt the tremor of fear. I had left Ryan behind. Or at least, I thought I had. But now, it seemed he was determined to follow me into my future. The worst was yet to come. One night, Ethan and I went out with friends. We came home late, tipsy and happy, only to find my apartment door ajar. My breath caught. Inside, nothing looked stolen, but my desk had been rifled through. A single photo frame, one of me and Ethan, was shattered on the floor. And tucked beneath it, a note. "He'll find out who you really are." I stood frozen, the room tilting. Ethan picked up the note, his jaw tightening. "We're calling the police." But a cold dread washed over me. Ryan hadn't just tried to ruin my reputation. He was escalating. And I knew this was only the beginning. The escalation. The police came that night, their flashlights sweeping across the broken frame and scattered papers. One of them, a weary-looking officer with lines etched deep into his forehead, asked the routine questions. Did I have enemies? Was anything stolen? Did I suspect someone? Ethan answered before I could. "Her ex. His name is Ryan." He's been harassing her for months. The officer scribbled something in his notepad, but his eyes held that detached skepticism I'd seen in authority figures before. Do you have proof? Ethan held out the note. The officer scanned it, then tucked it into a bag. We'll file a report, he said, his tone neutral. But without witnesses or fingerprints, it'll be hard to press charges. After they left, the apartment felt colder. The note's absence didn't erase the violation. If anything, the empty spot on my desk screamed louder. Ethan stayed the night, holding me as though his arms could shield me from the shadows. But my mind wouldn't rest. I kept replaying the sound of the door creaking open, the image of the frame shattered. It wasn't just about ruining my reputation anymore. Ryan wanted me scared, and it was working. The following weeks blurred into a series of small attacks, each one cutting deeper. One morning, Ethan received an anonymous email. It claimed I had cheated on Ryan with multiple people and that I was using Ethan as a rebound toy. The sender's address was a jumble of letters, but the writing style was familiar. Ryan always had a way of twisting words into knives. Ethan showed me the email, his expression serious but calm. I know it's him, he said. I don't believe a word of it. Still, I could see the flicker of doubt in his eyes, not in me, but in the relentless chaos Ryan created. Doubt isn't always about facts. Sometimes it's about fatigue, about wondering if any relationship is worth this constant storm. Then came the coworkers. 3 different colleagues pulled me aside on different days, each whispering awkwardly. Your ex messaged me. He said some things about you. I thought you should know. The details varied, but the theme was the same. Ryan painting me as unstable, manipulative, unfaithful. Every time, I laughed it off on the surface. He's just bitter, I said. But inside, my stomach churned. Reputation spreads fast, and once people hear poison, some of it always sticks. The breaking point came at Ethan's sister's engagement party. It was supposed to be a joyful evening. Fairy lights strung across the backyard, champagne glasses clinking, music drifting through the summer air. Ethan introduced me proudly to his relatives, and for a while, I felt almost normal. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw him. Ryan. He wasn't invited, but there he was, leaning casually near the drinks table, chatting with a group of strangers like he belonged. My chest tightened. I pulled Ethan aside. He's here. Ethan's face darkened. What? How? Before he could finish, Ryan spotted us. He raised his glass in a mocking salute, then walked over with a smile that made my blood run cold. Ethan, he said smoothly, ignoring me. Funny running into you here. Did she tell you about the time she... Leave. Ethan cut him off, his voice sharp. Ryan's smile widened. I'm just saying, you should know what kind of person you're with. She's not who you think she is. Guests nearby began to turn their heads, curiosity sparking. My throat closed up. I wanted to shout, to scream, but Ryan's calm delivery made me look hysterical by comparison. Ethan stepped forward, his voice steady but laced with steel. You need to go? Now, or I'll make sure you're escorted out. For a tense moment, I thought Ryan would fight. But then he chuckled, set down his glass, and strolled away as though he'd won. The whispers around us stung like wasps. That night, Ethan and I argued for the first time. I'm not mad at you, he said, running a hand through his hair. I'm mad at him. But this is exhausting. Every time we try to move forward, he shows up and drags us back. I swallowed hard. Do you think we should end this? The words tasted like ash, but I had to ask. Ethan's eyes softened. No, I love you, but we need to fight this together, not let him wedge himself between us. His words steadied me, but fear lingered. Ryan had already infiltrated so many parts of my life. What would he try next? The answer came 2 weeks later. I was walking home from work when I noticed a man trailing behind me. At first, I told myself it was coincidence. But every turn I took, he followed. My pulse quickened. Finally, I ducked into a convenience store, pretending to browse snacks while peeking through the window. He lingered outside, phone in hand, glancing around nervously. When I stepped back onto the sidewalk, he was gone. Relief washed over me, but it was short-lived. That night, Ethan received another anonymous message, this one with grainy photos of me on the street, taken without my knowledge. The caption read, "How long until she betrays you too?" My blood ran cold. Ryan wasn't just spreading lies, he was watching me. Ethan and I sat at my kitchen table, the message glowing on his phone between us. "This isn't just harassment anymore," he said. "This is stalking. We need to go back to the police." I nodded, but dread knotted my stomach. The first time, the police had been indifferent. What if they shrugged again? What if Ryan kept escalating until... I didn't finish the thought. Instead, I looked at Ethan, steady, calm, unwavering, and clung to the only truth that felt solid. Ryan might try to ruin us, but we weren't broken yet. Still, in the back of my mind, a single question whispered. How much damage could he do before we found a way to stop him? The breaking point. The second police report didn't go much further than the first. They logged the anonymous emails, the photos, the note, but their words were the same. Without concrete proof, there isn't much we can do. Unless he physically harms you, it's a civil matter. I wanted to scream. Did they need me bleeding on the floor before they took it seriously? Ethan argued with the officers, his voice shaking with fury. He's stalking her. He broke into her apartment. What more do you need? But the shrug we received was answer enough. That night, I sat on my couch with Ethan beside me, staring at the blank TV screen. The air between us felt heavy. I can't live like this, I whispered, always looking over my shoulder, always wondering what lie he'll spread next. Ethan took my hand. Then we don't let him control the story anymore. If he wants to drag this into the light, we drag him into it too. We tell people the truth. The thought terrified me. My instinct had always been to stay quiet, to wait for storms to pass. But Ryan wasn't a storm. He was a parasite. He thrived in silence. Maybe Ethan was right. The next day, I wrote everything down. Every message, every voicemail, every vague post, every photo. I compiled them into a document so thorough it made my head spin. Dates, times, witnesses. Ethan helped me contact a lawyer, someone his sister recommended. Sitting in the lawyer's office, telling my story aloud, I felt both exposed and empowered. When I finished, she leaned forward and said, "What he's doing isn't just harassment. It's defamation. It's stalking. And we can fight back." For the first time, I felt a flicker of hope. Ryan must have sensed we were pushing back, because that's when he went nuclear. It was a Friday evening when Ethan called me, his voice tight. "We need to talk. Now." I rushed over, my heart in my throat. He handed me his phone. On the screen was a message from an unknown number. Ask her about the night of June 12th. Ask her where she really was. Attached was a blurry photo of me leaving a building. It looked like an apartment complex, time-stamped weeks before. I stared at it, confused. That's Maya's place. Remember? We had a girls' night. I told you. Ethan nodded slowly. I remember. But he's trying to make it look like something else. The weight of Ryan's strategy hit me. It wasn't just lies anymore. He was creating narratives, twisting innocent moments into daggers. I buried my face in my hands. When does it end? Ethan pulled me close. When we end it. The showdown came sooner than I expected. Ethan's family hosted another gathering, a barbecue this time, and I debated not going. But Ethan insisted. We can't hide from him. If he shows up, we face him together. Sure enough, halfway through the evening, Ryan appeared at the edge of the yard. He wasn't invited. He wasn't welcome. Yet there he was, beer in hand, smirking like he owned the place. Conversations faltered. Guests glanced between us, tension crackling. Ryan sauntered over. "Ethan," he drawled, "I hope you know she's lying to you. She lied to me for years. Ask her about all the things she keeps hidden." My chest burned. Enough was enough. I stepped forward. "Stop hiding behind half-truths, Ryan. You want to tell them something? Tell them the whole story. Tell them how you tracked my phone, how you showed up uninvited, how you broke into my apartment and left me terrified in my own home." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Ryan's smirk faltered. "She's making that up." "Really?" Ethan cut in, his voice sharp. He pulled out his phone, opening the document we'd compiled. "Because we've got records. Messages. Photos. Witnesses. Want me to show everyone what you've been doing?" For once, Ryan had no comeback. His mouth opened, then shut. His eyes darted around, searching for someone to believe him. But the murmurs had shifted. The crowd wasn't on his side anymore. Finally, he muttered something under his breath and stalked off. This time, he didn't come back. The silence after was deafening. Ethan's mother stepped forward, placing a gentle hand on my shoulder. "I'm so sorry you've been going through this," she said softly. "You don't deserve it." For the first time, I felt truly seen by Ethan's family, not as a source of drama, but as someone surviving something ugly. Ryan didn't disappear overnight. He tried a few more anonymous posts, a few desperate messages. But with the lawyer involved, with the truth out in the open, his power began to crumble. The final blow came when he was served with a restraining order. Standing in court, hearing the judge say the words, I felt a weight lift off my chest. Ryan glared at me as he left the courtroom, but I didn't flinch. For once, I wasn't afraid. Life after Ryan wasn't perfect. There were scars, moments when I jumped at shadows, when I doubted myself, when I wondered if I'd ever fully escape his grip. But with Ethan by my side, the fear dulled. We rebuilt slowly. Dinners without interruptions, dates without dread, mornings without checking our phones for poison. And one evening, months later, Ethan turned to me with that steady look of his and said, he tried everything to ruin us. But we're still here. Stronger. I smiled through tears. Yes, we are. Now, when I look back, I don't just see the chaos Ryan caused. I see the resilience it forced out of me, the strength Ethan and I discovered together, the family we built despite the shadows of the past. Ryan tried to ruin my new relationship, but instead, he proved just how unbreakable it was.